Namaste, everyone. Thanks for joining me again. This is Ellen Nicholas Rathbone, sensuality consultant, life coach, sex educator, and here to tell you, just in case you missed it, that November 4th was National Sex Toy Day. So it meant let's celebrate our favorite sex toys. Now, I have so many, but the reason they are my favorites, and I will explain why, is because not only are they a toy that one can enjoy for pleasure's sake, but they are a tool that can be used to either intensify pleasure or to create something helpful for us to enjoy even more pleasure. So my favorite of all sex toys are Benoit balls. For anybody who doesn't know, Benoit balls are about the size of a marble. They're 24 karat gold plated, stainless steel on the inside. They're about maybe an ounce, 2 ounces heavy. And when you hold them inside the vagina, it creates an isometric exercise. Now, if you know how to use these toys or this tool properly, not only can it produce the most fabulous vaginal orgasm, but it also acts as weight resistance, so you can strengthen and tone your PC muscle and the sensitivity of your genitals as well. So that's those are the main reasons. I mean, learning how to have a multiple orgasm with Benoit balls is like nothing else. And keeping your pelvic floor where it belongs because you're doing regular exercise and keeping these balls from slipping out is the other excellent reason for it being my favorite toy. It's actually helping to repair your pelvic floor after you've had 1, 2, or even 3 children. Another one of my favorite toys is a French Touille. Now, a French Touille is very different because it looks like a little rubber mat, and it has a hole in the center. And on one side of the rubber mat are all these nubs, and on the other side, it's very smooth. So the smooth part is worn against the man's body, and his penis goes through the hole in the center, and the nubs are up against her Venus Mons. And when he is rubbing against her with lots and lots of lubrication on the French Touille, there's this delightful slide and glide that is very, very stimulating to the pubis for the woman. And depending on the model of French Touille, or magic carpet as some people call it, there might be a tail at one end and a clef at the other. So one would start with the clef up first, facing in an upward position. And so that while he's doing this bump and grind, there's this wonderful little rub going up against the clitoral area. Of course, once the clitoris gets very excited, it actually backs up. And so now that cleft by itself can't reach the clitoris. So that's when you flip the magic carpet around, and then there's the little tail at the end. And when you do that bump and grind again, because the tail is longer, it can go in, separate the lips. And when you're doing that bump and grind, it can simulate the clitoris again. So there's wonderful stimulation going on externally for the woman. And because his penis is inside of her, and the magic carpet is holding him snugly so he maintains a nice erection, that kind of pleasure can go on for indefinite. As long as they can enjoy what's going on, they can keep going and going and going. It really is quite a phenomenal tool for helping a guy stay hard longer and getting all the areas stimulated for both of them. Another toy that is really a lot of fun, but in our homophobic society, not everyone is willing to try it, and those are anal love beads. Anal love beads are phenomenal because when they are placed inside the anus and then pulled out very slowly, each one rubs up against the prostate. So it intensifies the intensity of his orgasm. The prostate is where the fluid is produced that carries the semen forward that he ejaculates. So rubbing the prostate is a way to intensify the orgasm for him. Now, there's lots of other ways. Some people will use a vibrator. Some people will use the famous finger, lubricated, maybe a glove on, whatever. But a lot of people don't want to go in. They just don't want to go in. So the anal love beads are a delightful way to rub that prostate and create the most explosive orgasm for the fellow, and not have to concern themselves with actually penetrating the anus if they don't want to. I mean, of course, if you want to, you could be, other kinds of stimulations going on, but the toy or the tool can be used for that kind of stimulation without you actually putting any of your fingers in. One of the most famous love toys or sex toys is a love swing. The original love swing came out centuries ago, and it was made by royalty. And it was a phenomenal idea, but it was made out of such rough materials that it was uncomfortable for the person sitting on it. And because it was kind of complicated in the way that it was created, it was difficult. You needed an assistant. So there had to be somebody there assisting you and your lover to have sex on a love swing. So then they weren't around, for centuries. And then recently, a doctor came up with the idea of a love swing for his patients that were either quadriplegic or paraplegic, in that they could not use the lower half of their body, but there was really nothing wrong with their penis. And if they got themselves into an erection, somebody could actually be on top of them, or they could be in the love swing and move themselves back and forth so that they had the power to work against gravity, because you have to be strong enough to be able to do the missionary position or any position that's face to face. The man has to have the energy to bring himself back and forth. And if he has issues with his body, that could be very difficult. So the love swing was created by a doctor for anyone who wanted to be able to overcome any gravity issues. And then, of course, after the doctor invented it, other people said, well, wait a minute, it doesn't have to just be for them. Anybody can use this. And then they started adding all kinds of features. I think it's a lot of fun. I mean, the variety that you can use on a love swing is, limitless. And whether she's on top or he's on top or backwards or forwards or bouncing up and down, there's different weight limits, but, it can hold a substantial amount of weight, whether you're using the spring or not using the spring. That's all going to be determined by how much weight is on there. But is it a lot of fun? Absolutely. And really, it's not very difficult to install in your house and then to take down and discreetly put it in your closet. So if your kids look in your closet, they'll just see something that looks like a hanger, a wide hanger. They won't investigate any further. I know I haven't mentioned vibrators. Vibrators are definitely one of the favorite toys of people all over the country. I'd like to make a differentiation between a vibrator and a dildo. So a vibrator can be any shape. It could look like an egg. It could look like a bullet. It could look like a penis. It could have a curve to it. It could have a wand and an egg at the end. It could have all kinds of materials. It can have a little tickler sticking out the end of it. As long as it vibrates, it's considered a vibrator. And vibrators can be used inside the body or outside of the body. They can be used for anal play, but there are specific anal vibrators that have a wide base so that it cannot slide up into the anus, which is a vacuous organ, and you don't want to put little teeny tiny vibrators up that area that don't have a wide base. But it is a phenomenally exciting tool because we are vibration anyway. And so when you add a little bit more vibration to what we already are, it intensifies the sensation in that area of the body. Now, vibrators can be used on any erogenous zone. Most people just kind of keep them on the genitals, but they're delightful on nipples. They're wonderful on the back. They're delightful in between your toes or on the bottom of your feet, underarms, along the inside of the arm, any place that you want a little extra tingling sensation is where a vibrator can go. Don't limit it just to genitals. And I think that's one of the reasons that it's such a popular sex toy, is because it adds a level of vibration to any area of the body that you want to put it. And then what's the difference between, say, a vibrator and a dildo? A dildo always looks like a penis, always. That's a dildo. It could be made out of glass, wood, metal. It could be made out of silicone. It could be made out of any kind of material. There's all kinds of materials that dildos can be made out of. But the bottom line is dildos are ancient in where they come from. They've actually been found in the tombs of Egypt, and they do not vibrate. So when someone calls somebody a dildo or says, oh, you use dildos, most of the time they are misspeaking, because most people do not use dildos. Most people, if they are going to use a sex toy, are using a vibrator. So get your terms straight and know which one is which so that you can get the most pleasure out of them. So I hope that this has introduced you even slightly to the wonders and joy of sex toys. National Sex Toy Day is November 4th. So we missed it for this year. I mean, I was celebrating. I don't know what you folks are doing. I didn't get a chance to speak to you on that day. But next November 4th, I hope you'll all have your favorite toy handy. And sometime during that day, you will treat yourself to an orgasm, because you know what? You're worth it. You're definitely worth the pleasure that you can give yourself. And if you practice teaching yourself how to have pleasure, you will be able to have pleasure for many, many, many years. And if you're a guy, when you are practicing, practice slowly, so that if you ever have the opportunity to make love to a female, you'll have control over when your ejaculate comes out. And if you're a woman, learn all about your body while you're practicing, so that you can give your lover the cues and clues that he needs to know what is different about you and what it is that you enjoy. So again, I hope you've enjoyed this talk. If you think that there was information here that was valuable and worth listening to, please share this video with friends and anyone over 18 years old, because, you know, we don't want children listening to this. We just want adults who want the best sexual pleasure and want to know how to enhance it. Thank you so much for joining me. See you next week when we're talking about massage therapy. Bye for now. See you then. Don't forget to do your Kegels. Namaste.